Hey, what up ladies and gents, your favorite Asian robot right here, hopefully your favorite Helldivers 2 content creator, and today what we're going to do is we're going to showcase the Arc Thrower after its recent nerf. The Arc Thrower saw a nerf of its range from 50 meters previously down to 35, and the charging time, previously you could do the half charge technique which I taught in my Arc Thrower tutorial, but now it takes a full second to charge, so you must always fully complete your charge before firing the Arc Thrower or else it's going to misfire. Okay, so take note of that. Last but not least, they actually did buff it slightly, but only in terms of its stagger ability, which means that it can now stun lock every automaton enemy up to a Hulk. Alright? It cannot stun tanks or anything like that, but the rest of what it does is still as per normal.
Helldivers to Hellpods. Repeat. Helldivers
Be right
to
there.
Hellpods.
Be right there, ship. Okay? Anyway. The key thing is that we're going to drop into a planet and I'm going to show you how the Arc Thrower feels in combat right now. We're only going to a difficulty 6, so it'll be easy for me to teach, but the principles that you will learn here can pretty much be applied to any difficulty. Alright, I just don't want to have like a stressful situation when I'm soloing in there, which will make it difficult for me to teach. Alright, so here we go. Now it's a private solo match, so of course we're going to bring in equipment that will work for what we're going to do. We're also going to do a safe drop. So normally I would do a hot drop, but obviously that's not really very viable here. So I will choose my localization confusion. I seem to have one less slot, which is kind of not good, but we'll have to deal with that. Okay, we will have the Arc Thrower and a shield generator pack. For the rest of our equipment, we're going to deploy the Scorcher, okay, the Senator for automatons, and some high-X grenades because this will just help us with fabricators. We're going to be taking the Trench Engineer set, alright, for the reduction in recoil and the extra grenades. The helmet and cape is to taste, okay? Alright, let's go. Now, the key thing to remember with the Arc Thrower is that it is now a short-range CC-style weapon. You will still be using it to frontline for your team, but again, it is a short-range CC-style weapon. You are not going to see it. You are not going to see it be like the greatest weapon in history against all sorts of foes. All right, no, it's not going to work that way. Okay, so first things first, you're going to see a call down. That's okay because it doesn't really matter to me.
Deploying equipment package.
We'll just Eagle Airstrike that.
Democracy's on its way.
Now it is a Hulk that came down, but in order to deal with this, we will grab our shield generator, okay, and we'll wait for the Arc Thrower itself to drop. So you will want to be a little bit careful when you've got a Bruiser Hulk, okay. Ooh, spicy. Try to find cover and charge up behind cover. Then, when you hit the Bruiser Hulk, okay, take note that as long as it is within 35 meters, you'll be able to stun lock it just like that, okay? So, just like that, you can actually take out a Hulk. Like I said, it's got a lot of value for your team, because you will be able to stun lock almost any target that is up to a Hulk. You cannot stun lock tanks, but that's okay. Now, I'm just going to complete the main objectives of this run so that we don't take too long and we don't get too bogged down. But, you know, along the way, if there's anything in my way, I'll just take it out so I can show you guys what we do. Alright, here we go. Now, aiming the Arc Thrower, is pretty interesting. Nowadays, I prefer to aim it in first-person mode. Why? Because it's a lot easier to target things. I find it so much easier to actually hit my target if I'm firing in first-person mode. This is because the arc beam seems to go where I need it to go. Perhaps that's just my personal, you know, like, thoughts or whatever, but, you know, as far as I can tell, this is what seems to work, and this is what has been working for me. Okay, you're gonna see a bunch of enemies here because this is a Detector Tower. Aim high, and you can stagger pretty much any target that is in your line of sight. Okay, so here comes the bot drop. It is no longer the absolutely supreme frontline weapon that it used to be, so just be aware of that. As you can see, you can stagger the Scout Strider by shooting at it, but you still have to put in some effort with this, okay? There we go. It's a good weapon, but it does require effort and knowledge. A full charge is necessary now, so without that, you're not going to actually be able to kill your targets. Just be aware of that. So you can still fire it like sort of semi-fast, but like I said, it requires you to actually well, not just properly aim, but it also requires you to know how to fire it. Okay, if you were used to the previous style where you could sort of half charge it and fire it, that won't happen anymore, so just be aware. I hope my Hell Bomb didn't get destroyed. Oh, it didn't. Okay, good. Okay, that's a bit of an irritation. Ooh. Aw, darn. Devastators can be a little bit more annoying if you can't get a proper shot on it. So I hope that also makes something very clear here. It is not like a solution for absolutely everything. All right, you're not going to be able to absolutely wreck everything just by getting your arc thrower out. All right, again, this is a very different situation from what it was before. Before, it was the weapon choice. You could wreck pretty much most things or most opponents just by charging it up and firing. So this, I think, is an important change that players will need to realize. And of course, we will still die. Okay, great. I love the fact that my Hell Bomb is still here. Thank you very much for staying here, Hell Bomb. And not getting destroyed. My boomer reflexes!
Hell Bomb armed.
Okay, Hell Bomb's armed. That should about cover it. There we are. Okay. The Eye of Sauron is gone. And now we can safely head over. I hate that rocket trooper. Okay, great. Everything clear. I'll take the last little bit before I go. Ah, bot drop detected. From a totally different place that I am no longer at. Oh, come on. Ah, there we are. Very nice. Okay, I better take one of these in case.
Dropping a pin. West.
Now after I clear this, I'm going to head to the other objective. Like I said, this is just a demonstration video, so I don't really care about... I'll finish the rest of the off stream so that I can contribute to Liberation anyway. But the idea here is just to show you guys how the arc thrower functions under a limited testing situation. Okay. Done and done. Now that's lovely. Now keep in mind that the arc thrower, as always, does ignore enemy armor, but you do have to be aware. Okay, we're gonna run with our secondary out so we can avoid most conflicts. Oh, I guess we're not avoiding that. But you do have to be aware that although we can ignore enemy armor, its damage to begin with was never very high. So because of that, oh dear. Keep in mind that foliage and the light can still block your bolts. I hate the dense foliage areas so much. It feels so annoying to fight in. And I especially hate the rocket troopers because if you blow them up next to you, you're still gonna die. Like it's almost like the explosion gets inside your shield. Maximum annoying. Alright, so just be aware that a lot of the problems with the Arc Thrower that you experienced before are still here. Just that now you can, I guess, sort of mitigate them a little bit.
I do like to take
Because you're closer range anyway, so you just have to get used to the
found something.
close range combat. And as you can see, the beam will still hit corpses. So if there's enemies that are already in your way, you are gonna miss, like you saw there. We killed all the targets that were in front of us, but then once the corpses were piled up, the Arc Thrower was no longer able to perform at full capacity.
Mission at 30
So just
minutes
be aware of
remaining.
that. Alright, it does have that as an issue. See, this is about 30, this is what 35-ish meters looks like. And you'll notice that I'm still occasionally missing because in my mind at least, I want to do the full charge. This is the perfect opportunity to also show. The Arc Thrower will no longer open crates. So some of you have mentioned about this, but the Arc Thrower will no longer open crates like these. Okay, so you can shoot at it, it's not going to open. You're still going to have to blow it open, which is why High X was my choice for this mission. Because if I ever see a crate and I want to open it up, I'm going to have to use High X to do so. Alright? So do be aware of that.
Administering freedom.
Now, if you see a Hulk, this is still one of the best weapons against one. Because you can stunlock him. This is one of the biggest uses of the Arc Thrower right now. Alright? You can stop these flamey boys from doing anything to you. Which is really good. Like, this is where it currently excels. You know, engaging with the Hulks and many of the other Devastators and enemies in the short range. Okay, you are still very much a frontliner for your team. And if you can get the drop on them, with your Arc Thrower already charged, you can actually get a lot of shit done. But you also run several risks, you know, as you can see right there. There's still several risks to this. So don't think of it as like the ultimate weapon to absolutely clear everything. It's not gonna be that. Alright, it's a useful weapon,
300 meters.
not the ultimate weapon. Now, Berserkers, big enemy that everybody hates, right? If you hit the head with this thing, you can actually kill him in one shot. Okay, but this was always possible. Just so you know, this was always possible. This is not a special, magnificent change to the Arc Thrower or anything like that. No, this was always here. Okay, just be aware of that. A lot of folks started telling me yesterday, like, oh my god, I can kill Berserkers. I was like, yes. You could always do that if you hit the head. And plus, with the extra stagger, it's now kind of nice. So that to me is a useful benefit. Now,
Have a taste of democracy!
now, if you need to hip fire it, you can. Alright, it's not like it's going to be super ultra accurate or something like that, but it will still do decently well.
Hellbomb request approved. Deploying now.
Now, if you do see a Hulk, please stand underneath the tower, where it's not going to detect more bots. Alright? And you can safely kill them, just like that. Now, what you're going to do here is you're going to arm this thing, and then
Hellbomb armed.
leave.
Clear the area.
Alright? You're going to skedaddle. Whoa. I think I might die. Can I get out? Woo! Stupendous dive. Ow. Oh, that was lovely. And that's not so lovely.
Box east.
Make sure that wherever you go, okay, 35 meters is your range. Okay, please be aware of that. If you do not, fire within the 35-meter range, you're not actually going to kill anything. So
I do like to taste freedom.
notice how we're sort of clipping their heads. If you sort of aim with this, it's a lot easier to hit where you need to go. But even then, it's not always 100% accuracy. See? Easy peasy.
Sending down
Right.
equipment package.
Right. This is also an oddly open area for the ICBM.
Come on.
Yeah, it's
Northeast.
about 28. Use your tag as a rangefinder if you really need it, because I personally really need it, and I find it pretty good to do. Okay, we're gonna make our way back here. Why? Because it's a smart thing to do. Always be taking cover. Remember that. Okay, once you can peek. Always listen for sound cues. Ooh, spicy. That was spicy, wasn't it? If you don't hit the head, it takes about 4 shots, so just be aware. If you do hit the head, that's over in 1. There you go. Berserkers all dealt with. Again, still very good when you're up close and personal, especially with the increased stun lock, but the range is an issue. So you're gonna have to get used to the new range, basically. Ah, of course. Forgot about that guy. There we are. Good lad. Okay, 4, 5, 2, oops, 2, and 2. Lovely. That was load your ammo perfectly. Oh, damn. I should have picked up the ammo after I loaded. Silly me. But then again, considering the mistakes I make on stream, oof.
Mission at
Whenever I see the little guys, I always eliminate them. Oh, 20 minutes only? Lovely. Right. Swap to secondary so you can run for longer and run faster. Thy wrath shall be swift. Okay, let's get out of here. I think you guys have seen enough of a demonstration of the arc thrower. It is still efficient in short-range combat. It still does pretty well. But the main thing to understand now is that with the range being so short, compared to what it was before anyway, you do have to sort of get used to the distance at which you can fire it. You're gonna kind of be in your opponent's faces. Other than that, you also have to be aware that the charging time, with it being 1 second, you really can't half charge it. So those of y'all used to the older style, you really have to wait for that sound cue that says it's fully charged and then fire it. I think that'll make a lot of difference for folks. But for me at least, it's a weapon that I would pick as a niche pick if I was going to be the CC of my team. If I was going to be the CC of my team, I would absolutely still pick this weapon, but if I had a different role, or if I was taking care of a different role, I would pick something else. Is it a solo capable weapon? Up to about difficulty 6, because you won't really be able to handle a lot of harder foes with it. But if you pick and choose your operation modifiers, I think you can still handle most of the threats that will come your way. Alright. Okay, that is my conclusion on it. Now, let's say we skedaddle, gang. Now, there's one little thing that I like to do after calling an extraction here. You're gonna see it in a second, but I hate the amount of lights at this place.
Extraction request confirmed. Shuttle inbound.
Keep in mind, I do not hate the light. I just hate the amount of lights. So I always take them all out. I'm already certain the automatons will converge on this location.
Nothing in the chamber.
I do not need them to see me. Okay, good.
ETA
Here they
TOS,
come.
1 minute, 30 seconds.
What's up, nerds? Oh, wow. See that? Even without, because I did not go into first person mode, it immediately just hits the corpse in front of you. That's it. Ooh.
ETA T-minus 1
What do you do? What do you do in this situation then? Only so much you can do, right? So,
Democracy's on its way.
this is how I fight. Try and take out the Hulk first. Oh, lucky shot to its head. Nice.
On target.
Much like with the Berserkers, you can actually crush the Hulk's head.
30 seconds. ETA T-minus 20 seconds.
The biggest issue for me right now is just waiting for that sound cue.
ETA T-minus 10 seconds.
Because I'm so used to my body has the internal timing of firing this thing down. So I'm just like, oh my god, I have to wait again. You know? It feels awkward. But at least with the stun lock, you can prevent most enemies from moving, so you can still take back ground, which makes you a much greater tanker for your team. Like this edition, I like. Now, I'm gonna run. Smell you later!
Extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning ascent.
Okay, and that's it. That's it for my demonstration on the Arc Thrower. I hope it was helpful to you guys so you guys can see a little bit more of what it can do. Okay? I'll try and chop all the boring bits out of it so that you guys can just focus on the action and see it up close. Okay, ladies and gents, now for the conclusion. The Arc Thrower's nerf to the range can be a bit more annoying. As you can see, we're not really as long range as we were before. The stagger lock, especially when there's a lot of Berserkers barreling down on you, can be very helpful. But again, it is something that you guys have to understand is not really perfect. It's not something that's going to immediately give you value, so you do have to take that into account. The Arc Thrower is a strong weapon, but it has weaknesses. Now, range is its #1 weakness because you have to be in the enemy's face. And the other thing is the charging time. Those used to the older charging time, you're gonna have to readapt. You're gonna have to wait for that sound cue each time, and it may make you feel a lot slower than before. Once you get used to it, it's okay, but there's always that feeling of I want to fire a little bit faster. So now, no, you have to wait for that sound cue to go off and then fire the Arc Thrower. It can still do a lot of what it used to do within the 35-meter range, but the extra stagger force is pretty powerful. You can use it to stagger lock Hulks, as I've demonstrated a couple of times in the video. You can use it to run around, hold enemies, so you can become a CC frontline tank for your team, but just do be aware your range is literally short. Your range is teeny tiny, so be very careful with that. Okay? Alright. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you guys have a great day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to see more of my content, alright, hit that notification bell, set it to all, and you'll never miss out on any of the Asian Robot content. Now, the last thing that I'm going to say is these are some of our top supporters for April right now. I gotta give my thanks. So giving my thanks to Teddy Lasso for being a top super chatter, Crow's Flight, Grumcull, Thraka, Track Hoodie, Daza, John McKinley, Fat, thank you guys so much. And thank you to Grasshopper for the multiple gifted memberships, Lord J and Vinny as well. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys on the next one. Y'all have a good day. Get you later.